So next, we are going to go into my workflow and just a few words about me for the introduction part. My name is Anca Platon Trifan. I'm the founder of Trifan Event Productions. Been a technical producer for 20 something years, turned AI strategist, speaker, also a host of the Events Demystified Podcast. And really my work sits at the intersection of AV production, event technology, AI strategy, and human performance. I help event clients move from scattered system and last minute chaos into smarter, more connected workflows that actually support the people behind the event. On the AV side, that means helping clients through production strategy, technical execution, show floor, speaker readiness, and the real operational details that make an event work. On the AI side, I help teams move past random tool usage and build practical AI fluency, stronger system thinking, and workflows that save time without removing the human judgment. Podcasting is where I interview event professionals from the industry. Right now, we are actually running the CEO edition, and we spotlight leaders and turn complex ideas into content that builds trust, authority, and community. And then the Fit for Events framework, this is where I bring in the human performance, because event professionals cannot keep running on burnout and adrenaline and caffeine forever. The future of events needs smarter systems, stronger teams, and people who are mentally, physically, and operationally ready for the pressure of events. That's really the true line of everything that I do, basically helping event professionals and organizations produce better events, adopt technology more intelligently, and build the capacity to lead in a faster, more demanding industry. So the workflow I will be showing today is called the Show Ops workflow, and the tools used for this is Claude Cowork and the connector to Google Drive to generate, read, analyze documents and spreadsheets. This could also be done with Claude and SharePoint, or Copilot project could be also a very useful tool for connecting to SharePoint to replicate the workflow. And this comes from a very real production problem I had to solve recently while on event side. The client asked for a schedule change the night before, which sounds simple on paper, but the second you touch the run of show, you are touching the whole flow of the event. So while that might sound manageable on paper, in production, that request can touch room flow and AV setup and tear down timing and sponsor value and meal windows and attendee movement. So before I show you the workflow, I'm curious, just for all of you, what is the last client change that sounded simple but created a full operational domino effect, as you can see on the slide? Thanks, Chase. We've all been there. Yes, I believe you. Where one thing can completely change the rest of it. Event people, I feel like they collect those moments like some kind of emotional support scars. And then we can share those war stories and try not to have PTSD from it. So here's the scenario for today's workflow. The client wanted to change the day 2 session block from 6 30-minute sessions to 4 45-minute sessions. On paper, again, the math worked. 6 times 30 is 180 minutes, right? Now, 4 times 45 is also 180 minutes. But in a live event, mathematically sound is not always the same thing as operational safe, right? That change might affect the room flow, the AV setup, the tear down timing. And this is just one simple request that can become this production nightmare. Now, a runner show is not a prettier version of the agenda. Some people think it is, but it's not. It really is the operational system of the event. It tells the team what has to happen, when it has to happen, what cannot move, what depends on what, and where the event should start to wobble. The chaos side is what happens when everything is floating and those dependencies are trapped in just someone's head. And then the control side is what happens when fixed anchors are protected and the system knows what can move, what cannot. And that is the difference between a schedule and an operating document. And this is the value of the workflow. Normally, when a schedule change comes in, someone has to manually recalculate the timing, scan for conflicts, check venue constraints, preserve the client's priorities, protect sponsor commitments, and think through the second and third order effects, right? And that is what a lot of event planners are doing right now manually. But that is expensive brain work under pressure. The workflow compresses this recalculation and protects the invisible constraints and surfaces some of the cascade risk and then create repeatability. The human does not disappear from the process. The human moves into a better position. So instead of rebuilding the whole thing manually and spending time on data entry, it can review the structure output like a leader that it is. Now, a lot of people focus on the prompt, and the prompt matters, but it is only today's problem. The skill primer that I'm going to show you next is the permanent standard, and Min touch on what a skill is. For me, I call it a skill primer because without a primer, I am just asking AI to help me with the schedule, and I might get something that sounds useful, but it can miss the whole production logic. With the primer, on the other hand, I am defining the role, the rules, the output structure, the constraints, the guardrails. So in this workflow, Claude is not acting just like some kind of a generic assistant. It is acting like a senior event production coordinator with context around the schedule structure, around the venue logistics, the AV constraints, the BO, and that is how we move from random prompting to repeatable workflow design. And this is the core of this show ops workflow. I'm not asking AI to make me a better schedule. That is how you get something polished and potentially totally useless. I am giving it the operating environment, the current schedule, the venue logistics, the client request, the BO, and that is what forms the skill primer that tells Claude how to think like this senior event production coordinator. The prompt in a chat bot is today's problem. The primer is the permanent standard. And that is what turns this from one-off prompt into repeatable workflows. Now, this workflow needs 3 core inputs: the current schedule, the venue logistics, the client request. And those 3 inputs create that operational environment. And this is something that I've already primed the system to know. And I have done that through a series of documents that I've already created. And for example, the inputs, what's on the screen, that's what lives in Google Drive. And you would have the BO, you would have the sponsor prospectus, you would have agenda from day 1, agenda from day 2, you would have the ticket structure from today. And then we can take this and now feed it into the system and then ask it based on a trigger. So I have the skill primer set up, I have the trigger, and then run it through Claude. So the actual protocol that I use is step 1 is set the tension, define what changes and why it matters. Then step 2 is load the context. That is where the skill primer comes into hand. Give the system the schedule, venue, logistics, and request. Then step 3 is when I'm going to show you running the trigger, asking for specific rebuilds. And step 4, we're going to look at the logic, explain how AI is processing those dependencies. And then step 5 is walk the output, see what changed and what didn't. So what I have here in my document is basically all of this has been pre-created, and I always have a list of what I call them PRD documents, which is production ready documentation that will inform Claude to pull from so that it knows what it needs to do. For example, the skill primer is already ready to go, and I have already fed Claude the skill primer because all I needed to do now is take the trigger, which is going to be this. So we're going to take this trigger already built, and I'm going to go into my Claude session that, again, this is the primer. So the primer is being sent. I did this earlier this morning so that I have it ready. It already confirmed that the skill is loaded and ready. And now what it needs when I say run show ops is just to give it the trigger. Basically, this is the prompt. It's a very long prompt. So I'm going to let it run while I'm explaining a little more what is happening and what does it mean to walk the output. We definitely want to review what changed and also what stay fixed and what needs human approval. This really matters because any workflow that you run should have that human with AI layer. The workflow is not producing a new timeline. It's just showing how it works, and it showed me what needs to be reviewed. Let's see. So this is basically where I would check if once it runs, and we're going to make sure that it runs. It's going to need a minute. So it definitely generated the first step. And what I'm going to ask it is still doing it, looks like. What I'm going to want to see is an actual Google spreadsheet that I can open up. So while it's doing all of that, a few things that I would want to check as, again, the human layer in the mix. The anchor times have been held, the floor time that's been changed, also no double booking across tracks. Lunch window is not compressed, so it's still full 60 minutes. And anything that needs to be flagged is being flagged here. So it's also telling me what needs to be resolved before doors. So those are those red flags. And while this looks okay, what I would like to see is, can we turn this into a Google spreadsheet? And we're going to let it do that. So my checkpoints, going back to the checkpoints that I mentioned, is one, did it preserve the 180 minutes of floor time? Did it keep fixed those anchors? Did it flag any compression risk? Did it identify where human review is needed, which it did? So all of that is part of that trigger point, because I want to make sure that those things are not missed. If you don't have those identified and presented, it could very easily be missed. So you want to make sure that not only this schedule is technically viable, but it also doesn't impact the event in other ways, because a bad flow, it means a bad attendee experience. So we're not just looking at some kind of a revised schedule. We're looking at a preserved operational logic. Let's see what we got. Okay, spreadsheet ready, run of show. Okay, and let's go and look at it. Okay, so we have day 2 managed to be all those sessions that needed to be moved. And this was what was given. Day 1 and day 2 was what was given. It didn't look as pretty, which was fine. You can have a run of show, whatever, which way you want to. I think giving it enough information in the primer, then you can turn it into something more visually appealing. So just as Min was saying, when I work with Claude Code or Cowork, I always back up everything that I do in a GitHub repo. She did a really good job on explaining how repos work. But for example, in my public repo, I have open source agents that I built. One is the AI speaking agent. One is the AI awards agent. I actually use this to judge the Event Tech Live AI awards. I have my speaker processor package. This is managing speaker content, especially if you're managing speakers. Also Second Brain, which is what I built for myself. And for anyone that's new at Claude, this is a great repo to tap into, Claude How To, because it really takes you step by step how to install Claude, how to use Claude Code, Claude Cowork, all the Claudes. So that's available for anyone that's interested to fork from. As Min was saying, there is an option to fork from this to make it your own and then add to it. For those that are joining here, I also have my Event Pro AI Skill Starter. I have shared this during my workshops and keynotes when I speak. And it has everything you need, not just to how to set up Claude, how to build a skill. And it has obviously the README first, which tells you what you need to be doing step by step. But it also has a series of skills already pre-built so that when you install it and when you bring it into Claude, then all of those are ready to go. So that is something that I want to provide to all of you that are joining us as a take home. So hopefully you can get to use Claude to the level that me and Min and Chase are using it. So let's see, we got that done. We got the output. I'm going to end here is Claude can definitely calculate the dependencies and it can rebuild all that time it, and it can flag the conflicts, it can reduce the risk. But really, it is the person behind, the human behind this workflow that will dictate what happens and what doesn't. So that is what this workflow only works with the person, the master's touch. Is this acceptable to stakeholders? Does this compressed lunch really bring value or not? Will the AV partner agree to the new term, right? All of those questions you will need to answer as the person behind it. Yes, you can have Claude generate a pretty looking run of show, but it is still your responsibility how that gets executed. The last takeaway I want to leave you with, the more mature use of AI is not asking you to handle random tasks. It is building a system that can hold context, it can rebuild structure, and it can produce something worth reviewing. And that is the shift that I want you to live with. So you can go from manual reconstruction to directing the system in the context, in the rebuild, in the mastery. And while you can use any of those workflows to do that, you need to build your own system that can hold the context and can manage all your own dominoes so that you can have the final operating code.